At HKBU School of Business, put your skills to the test. Access the only triple accredited business school in Hong Kong with programs in different specializations, and take the initiative to realize your aspirations.
Hello everybody, and welcome to this live event in partnership with the HKBU School of Business. I am Ilaria from Docsity, and I would like to thank and welcome all our speakers and former students from HKBU who joined us today. So I see that more people are joining, so thanks again for being with us today. I am Ilaria from Docsity, and this is a live webinar in partnership with the HKBU School of Business. If you have any questions while the webinar, feel free to drop them in the Q&A box at any time, and we will take them in the last part of our event. So today it's my pleasure to have here Miss Ada Tong and also Emma and Rodrigo, former students and now professionals in Hong Kong, and also Professor Gerald Prendergast, who is Associate Dean at the HKBU School of Business. So thanks again, everybody, for being with us today and for your time. And now I'm happy to leave the floor to Ms. Ada Tong. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I'm Ada from Career Services Section, School of Business. I'm very happy to be here today to share with you. Just a moment, let me share my screen. Okay, yeah. Actually, I'm from Career Services Section that I just mentioned. We name ourselves as CSS. So I would like to introduce what Career Services Section is and what kind of career services you can enjoy as a business school students. And then I am going to talk about our Career Ignition program, which is our unique program, and how you can work in Hong Kong, both internship and as a full-time graduate, as well as our contact if you wish to reach out to us. So we focus on developing, enhancing students' employability. Our role is to facilitate your transformation from being a student into a career professional upon graduation. So you can find a lot of career resources in HKBU. First of all, the university has a career center which serves all faculty students, and they do provide a number of workshops, activities, as well as career consultation. Secondly, for us, CSS, we serve all the full-time students from business school students only. So you can see our services are exclusive and also exclusive to business school students. And we provide the career training workshops, activities. Say, for example, we have the career festival that I'm going to introduce in a minute. And we also have the career readiness retreats. And we have got the one-on-one consultation. So if you have any questions, you can talk to us. And then we got the Career Ignition program and also the e-learning resources. So you may wonder, what is the role of CSS? We are the facilitator and advisor to give you advice, to provide you with resources to look for jobs. But we are not the placement center. That is, we can't guarantee you a job upon graduation. But during the journey, don't worry, we will provide you with a lot of resources and also support throughout your academic studies. So we do have some expectation on students because we think that you have to manage your career, design your career roadmap. First of all, explore the path, understand yourself as well as the industries. So before you gear yourself up and search for opportunities and jumpstart your career, we name the whole process as career management because we trust that after graduation, you are the one who have to manage the career. You have to manage your career. So why not you focus on learning the skills and apply the skills upon graduation? If you need, we can also provide you, say, the support after graduation. Especially if you need how to say polish your CV. Okay, so for full-time business school students, we have got a number of resources like one-on-one career coaching, the e-resources, the latest market information that we will share from time to time on LinkedIn and also our e-newsletter. And we will have the career development workshops. So for one-on-one career coaching, it is actually a section lasts for 45 to 60 minutes. So the topic ranges from interview skills, industry trend, CV and cover letter review, career directions. If you're confused, finding out your career directions, talk to us and find out your career interests, the job search strategies. We do have a lot of e-resources like LinkedIn and also some online learning and the video interview practice, because we will purchase different resources for students to not just to prepare for the job interview, but also prepare for the job search. Okay, for Career Festival, it is normally held in October, and it comprises different elements, which include the workshop, webinar, some self-learning online resources. Last year, we invited the iBank and also a consulting firm to give students a career talk and also how they can join those industries. All right. And during the Career Festival, so you will find some CV writing workshops, the interviews tips, and some industry update, and as well as some in-demand technical skills. We actually have a workshop about Python. The students love it. And then we have got a unique program called Career Ignition Program. So the purposes are to ignite your career passion and prepare your career readiness. And basically, it consists of two parts. The first part is about career upskilling events that you can choose to join during the Career Festival. And then for the second part, I highly recommend you to consider this part, which is about your benchmarking tools, including CV and also your CV and also LinkedIn profile. We will arrange the one-on-one consultation section to polish your CV. And then once you are done, you can get your CV to upload it to LinkedIn. Okay, these benchmarking tools will be sent to the potential employers around March and also April. So that's to enhance students' employability. Okay, so just to give you some quick figures that we have conducted actually a questionnaire last year. Among 40 survey respondents, around 78% of students used the CV. And 100% of them received the interview invitation, which is really, really a good score. And students do share with us that they benefited from the CV writing workshop and also other career workshops in a very positive way. So if you would like to work in Hong Kong, for internship, there are actually 3 types of internship you can consider. The first type is called study curriculum related internship. The second one is part-time on-campus employment. And last but not least is about summer internship. But of course, you have to take a look at your student visa, the expiry date. If you want to work in Hong Kong as a full-time graduate, so we got the immigration arrangements for the non-local graduates. In short, that is called ING. So what are the benefits? The non-local students can stay and also work in Hong Kong, and they will be granted about 2 years, 24 months of stay in Hong Kong, provided that the normal immigration requirements are met. Okay. So I will just keep my presentation short. If you have any questions, do feel free to drop us in the chat box, and then I hope to take your questions at the end of the section. I look forward to seeing you on campus. You can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and as well as IG. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ada, for your presentation. And actually, the job that HKBU is doing with the career service is great. Is great and not granted at all over the world. So take advantage of all these opportunity. Before moving to the next contributors, I would like to invite all our participants to share their questions into the Q&A box, as we will take them at the end of our event. And now we are ready to listen to Miss Emma Mariani from Italy. who chose the Master of Science in Business Management and is now Marketing and Events Manager at the European Chamber of Commerce in Hong Kong. Thank you very much, Emma, for being with us today, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Ilaria. Now I will share my presentation. Okay, I hope everybody can see it well. So yes, I will share about my experience of studying at HKBU as an international student and the career support that I received and my professional life in Hong Kong now. So yeah, a little bit of background about myself. So how I ended up here, why I chose to come to HKBU. So yes, I'm from Italy originally, and back in Italy I studied foreign languages, specifically Chinese, Mandarin, and English. And so after graduating, I moved to mainland China, to be specific to Guangzhou, where I could keep studying Chinese, and I got to become more fluent. And since I was in Guangzhou, which is in the south of China, I had the opportunity to come visit Hong Kong just as a tourist a few times, and I really fell in love with the city, and I thought that from an expat perspective, it's just the perfect place to live in Asia, because it's a mixture of East and West. And so I really thought I want to pursue my education, I want to do a master's, and I want to do it in Hong Kong. So I started doing my researches, and I could see that, I found HKBU, and specifically the program that I attended, the MSCBM in Business Management. And I tried to apply, and I was lucky enough to get accepted with a diversity contribution scholarship. And I straight away accepted it, even though there were I applied for other universities, but that was for sure my first choice. And so I could continue living in this area of the world, but specifically in Hong Kong, a city that from my perspective gives a lot of opportunities. And yeah, as I mentioned, I studied foreign languages before, so I really wanted to deepen my knowledge in business. And I found that this program was perfect, because even though I didn't have a strong background in business economics, I could manage it, because there were different levels of students in our class. So the teacher were really helping us to tailor-made programs and follow us. So I have to say it was a great teaching experience. Now, yes. Going a bit more in depth on the teaching methodologies at the HKBU Business School. So as for my experience when I was studying in Italy, we did a lot of individual studying, while at HKBU we did a lot of group work, which is great because it really prepares you for your future career, where you have to cooperate with your colleagues more than doing stuff alone, right? So I really appreciated that. And so part of the grades of the final grades of the class was group work, actually, and then part a final exam. So I really like this hybrid model, we can say. I was not used to it, because at least in my faculty in Italy it was not the case, but I feel like for a master's, and especially in business, is the perfect approach. And yeah, and as for the class environment and classmates, well, it was quite mixed, quite international. So we had many students from mainland China, but also some international students, some local students. So yeah, that's how you start creating your network as well for the future. And then you have the help of the local friends and classmates, who can also introduce you to the city, but also to the job market, and explain you how it works, in parallel with the support from the university, of course. So I have to say that I'm still in touch with many of my classmates from when I was studying, and we're still friends, and we meet at some of the university events. Then, yes, a few more sharing about my time at HKBU. So, well, I have to say that there was never a dull moment, because HKBU always organize a lot of events that help us to come together and get to know each other more. So not only within our class, but also with students from the other faculties. So yes, I would say the highlight for me was here the business field trip to South Korea that we took. It was great. It was about a week, and we visited different companies in Korea, especially non-profit. So we could see how the business environment is there, and it was really a very well curated business trip. And it was really memorable, not only because it was my first time in Korea, but because I got to see and get to know the country also from its business environment, we can say. So yes. And then yeah, here I was the MC of the alumni night back in my year. So also I got the opportunity even to speak in public, for example, which is something I hadn't done much before. And then yes, here we have this fun run when me and my team won the best costume award. So very, very fun memories. Then yeah, as for the career support, so for the career support, I have to say that service that I really appreciated was the mock interview, because again, before I didn't really do many job interviews. So it was really helpful to have this set of questions that are those most likely to be asked, and be coached on how to answer, and not only what to say, but how to say it, right? And then we had some career fairs. And actually, I got a couple of interviews from companies that I met at the career fair. So that was absolutely useful. And yeah, and as I was mentioning before, HKBU organizes a lot of networking events, alumni nights, etc., so that we, for all of us who are still in Hong Kong, can really keep in touch and develop our network. So here there are on the left a few pictures of events that I actually attended quite recently, but there are a few every year. So yes, straight away, I think at the beginning of my year at HKBU, already I got the opportunity to meet some alumni from the years before, so that they could give me tips, and I would know what to expect when having an interview, etc. So yes. And then as for my job now, as Ilaria was mentioning before, I'm the events and marketing manager at the European Chamber of Commerce in Hong Kong. And yeah, this job specifically, I have to say that networking was very useful, because that's how I got to know my future colleagues, my future manager. And in Hong Kong, yeah, for sure, networking is important, like everywhere else in the world. But yeah, network is important, but then you also need to support it with being able to do a good interview, right? And this is where HKBU comes in and gives you the right coaching. And yes, so I'm very satisfied about my job, my career, and yes, so that would be my sharing, and I will give the floor back to you, Ilaria. Okay.
Thank you very much, Emma, for sharing your experience. We actually have quite a rich schedule today, so stay with us and drop any questions you may have into the Q&A box. And also, I would like to tell you that every person who actually registered to this event is going to receive a link with the recording of the webinar, so you can watch it in case you missed anything. And now I leave the floor to Mr. Rodrigo Torres from El Salvador, who graduated in data analytics and business economics, and who is now senior associate at Upclear in Hong Kong. Thank you, Rodrigo, for being with us today, and looking forward to hearing your sharings.
Thank you so much, Ilaria, for introducing me, and thank you, Emma for sharing, and Ada too. So, okay, I will try to share my screen now. Do let me know if you see my screen.
Yes.
Yeah, it's looking okay. Okay. Wait. Sorry. Okay. So hello everyone. My name is Rodrigo. I come from El Salvador in Latin America. And yeah, I'm going to introduce you a little bit about my experience in Hong Kong, my experience in HKBU, in my program Business Data Analytics, and my experience now as a professional. So I think like Emma and I have like shared a little bit of a background. Like we were in Asia before coming to Hong Kong. So in my case, I did my bachelor's back in Taiwan. I did international business over there, and I was like coming from a place so far as El Salvador. I really felt like everything was different, but I always felt like people here were really welcoming, and I really like the culture. So I finished my bachelor. I moved around. I also had a stage in mainland China, learning a little bit of Mandarin, and within like that time, I came and visited Hong Kong a couple of times and fell in love with the city. It's like very impressive for whoever hasn't come to Asia, and you never really understand how, or like it's hard to imagine how Hong Kong is in many ways. Like you think of Hong Kong as the concrete jungle, like buildings and buildings, and you have that, but you also have like a lot of nature and a lot of like cool places to go, and also it's a very nice hub if you want to move around Asia, and this is something that is nice not only for people like me or who want to travel around, but also for companies. Like this is quite a strategic place to be. And yeah, so that's a picture of me, actually not in Hong Kong, but trying to have a master's attempt. But yeah, so now I work in UpClear. This is a software company. I work as a business analyst, and yeah, I'll introduce a little bit more about what all this means, and like let's see. So yeah, so this is a little bit of what I'm going to be sharing today, like what Hong Kong means for my company, for me, and a little bit about how studying a master's in HKBU helped me find a job here, and how not only the program but also the school gave me the resources to like develop my career in ways and to yeah to have that exposure around and yeah find a job. So a little bit about my I will start with what I'm doing now. So as I mentioned, UpClear is a small software company, and we work for consumer goods companies. So think of Ferrero, the chocolate maker, Coca-Cola, or Kraft Heinz, all these companies that put products in supermarkets. They need a tool that will allow them to make like integrate their processes. So what we do in Hong Kong is that we connect the requirements of some of these companies around, like in cities like in countries like Indonesia, Japan, China, and we so we sorry so we will collect the requirements of our clients and push them through our backlog. So and also we will try to assist them in case they have problems, they need to, like, they don't know how to make use of some functionality, or in case we create new things, we will also assist them in giving them training. And why actually we only have one client in Hong Kong, and most of our clients are around, like around the region, as I mentioned before. But Hong Kong is the place to be. We have like a big client in China and a big client in Japan, and being in Hong Kong allows to provide this service, even though we are a small team. And yeah, as a business analyst, as I mentioned before, I take responsibility of like collecting the client requirements and find ways to meet their needs. So this is a little bit of what I'm doing now. And how did my program help me to get this job? So before I was doing a bachelor in business, and I didn't have really software experience or programming experience, but I felt like this was something that would be very beneficial for my career. So I found this program where I could, which is the master degree in data analytics and business economics. And so I felt like I was already have like a little bit of knowledge of the business economics, and I could enhance that and learn new tools that will help me in my career. So I got, I think, a few things that were very helpful during my time studying this master is like the industry exposure. So we will have the executive workshop classes where people from the industry would come and tell us how they do analytics in their companies. So this will give us a clear idea of how this, like what people are actually doing in real life. Then I got like programming foundations. I learned a little bit of Tableau, Python, and SQL. And this was also very good when I was trying to apply for companies, because I think that gave me a competitive advantage. And I also felt like many of the classes will give me assignments that will at the end end up being quite relevant to what I'm doing now. So it's not always like a perfect fit, but I'm very glad that I got to study this program, and this gave me the chance to find a job in Hong Kong. So yeah, and together with my program, I actually did this master's during COVID time, and I felt like this was challenging for everyone, but the career services section in HKBU was extremely helpful, even though it was harder for them to deliver all what they offer, but they managed to always provide us with workshops on how to make our CVs, a little bit of what Ada was sharing before, the alumni sharing like what I'm doing right now, and of course gave us access to job portals to learn more about what kind of opportunities were available out there. And so yeah, I think that as Emma mentioned, I got some interviews from some of the jobs I applied through these portals, and yeah, it was actually like quite helpful during my journey. And so I think that's about it on my side. And yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thanks to you, Rodrigo, for your sharing. It's great to hear actually real experience from former students, and above all, if they were not born in Hong Kong. Now I'm happy to welcome Professor Prendergast, Associate Dean at the HKBU School of Business, who will tell us more about the school. So guys, stay with us and take the advantage of the opportunities to get so much insightful information. And if you have any questions, keep writing them into the Q&A box and we will take them soon. Thanks again for being with us today, and also thanks Professor Prendergast for your time. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Ilaria, and welcome everybody, and thank you to Ada and Emma and Rodrigo. So I think my presentation will also be a short presentation, and I believe the content will address many of the questions coming up in the chat box, because I'll be talking about the school and admission requirements and scholarships, which we are getting many questions about. So let me share my screen. So I'm going to be talking about, well, Rodrigo and Emma have already talked about Hong Kong. So I'll briefly talk about Hong Kong, but I'll focus mostly on the School of Business at HKBU and our commitment to internationalization, which is why we are doing this webinar tonight. And finally, I will talk about scholarships, which I think you are waiting patiently for. So firstly, Hong Kong, I think as Rodrigo and Emma already discussed the benefits of being in Hong Kong. And Rodrigo said that you think of Hong Kong as being all buildings, but in fact, 75% of Hong Kong is green, hiking space. So it's a great city in a sense that you've got the hum of a big metropolis that is Hong Kong, but you've also got the opportunity to go hiking within a very short amount of time from your place of work or your place of study. So that to me is a big attraction of Hong Kong. As Ada mentioned, the Hong Kong government offers graduates 24 months working visa. Even if you don't have a job, you can stay in Hong Kong to use that time to find a job. So that's a big attraction to many of our applicants for our programs. So Hong Kong Baptist University, Hong Kong Baptist University and the School of Business, that's going to be the direction I'm going. So Hong Kong Baptist University, firstly, we are a publicly funded university. And in many countries, it's the private universities that are more prestigious. Not in Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, the publicly funded universities are more prestigious because in Hong Kong, frankly, the government gives the universities a lot of financial support. So in Hong Kong, as a publicly funded university, we are one of the prestigious universities in Hong Kong. We're a research-led liberal arts university, which almost sounds like a contradiction because most people, when they think of a liberal arts university, they think of a university that only does teaching. But in fact, we do research and teaching, and we use our research to inform our teaching and to keep our teaching at leading edge. As a liberal arts university, if you ask 10 people, what is the liberal arts university, you will get 10 different definitions. How we conceive liberal arts university at HKBU is that we prepare students not just for a job, which is what Ada was talking about, not just for a job, but for life. So we look at the long-term preparation of students. I think about our graduates as having, if you think of 4 quadrants, okay? Our graduates, in terms of being the whole person graduate, they need to be knowledgeable, skillful, ethical, and global vision. Those are the 4 main components of our graduates. They're knowledgeable, skillful, ethical, and have a global vision. That balance of knowledge and skills is important because knowledge, as you know, can quickly become redundant, but skills, however, can be enduring and transferable across industries. So the skills component is very important to us. For the School of Business, I mentioned whole person education. We are a leader in whole person education, and in Hong Kong, we were the founders of whole person education. As I said, knowledgeable, skillful, ethical, and global are the themes of our graduates. The Centre of Excellence in Business Research in selected areas. I think the key word there is selected, because we are a relatively small university. Our enrollment is roughly in the university around 10,000 students, and the School of Business is around 3,000 students. Quite small by global standards. So we focus our research resources into three main areas: corporate sustainability, which aligns with the ethical dimension. So corporate sustainability, fintech, and data analytics are our areas of research focus. Sustainability, fintech, and data analytics. We nurture ethical leaders with global vision. We work very hard on the global vision aspect. As Associate Dean, I lead the internationalization of the School of Business, supported by a team of administrators. We internationalize our student body, which is what tonight is about. We internationalize our faculty, we internationalize our curriculum, and we internationalize our research. Now, this slide talks about accreditations, and you may think that this is a boring thing to talk about, accreditations. Let me tell you, this is something very important, because if a business school is ranked in the top 100 schools in the world, people know that business school. Okay, international applicants will know that business school. Accreditations are not so important. If you are not ranked in the top 100 in the world, and we are not ranked in the top 100, so as an international applicant, you may ask questions about the quality of the education provided. And these accreditations mean that we have hit international quality benchmarks. Okay, so these accreditations, although we don't have the top ranking, these accreditations give you that quality assurance. So AACSB is the American accreditation, EQUIS is the European accreditation, and AMBER is the UK accreditation. We are the only school in Hong Kong with triple accreditation. And only 1% of business schools in the world have this triple accreditation. It's a big deal for us, and it should be a big deal for any international applicant as well. Actually, we've done our research on the international market. We conducted a survey a few years ago. We tried to find out what are international applicants looking for in a business school. Okay, what are they looking for in a business school? And our research found that you people, okay, are looking for three things in a business school. You're looking for rankings, which I'll talk about in a minute. You're looking for accreditations, which is this slide. And the most important one is employability and career development. And employability and career development is the theme tonight. And that is what Ada, our first speaker, was talking about. I just want to highlight Ada in Ada's section, the career services section. Ada and her colleagues are in the School of Business. Okay, so we have a university level careers office, but we also have our own business school careers office to focus on the employability of our business school graduates. So I think that's important. Okay, I mentioned rankings. There is some ranking data for you in terms of school rankings and program rankings. We have 25,000 alumni. And these alumni are not sleeping alumni. They are active and they are eager to help our students step into the job market. So again, there's that employability component. We're the oldest business school in Hong Kong. Is that a good thing? I don't know. Old gold perhaps, but certainly we have a lot of experience in teaching business education in Hong Kong. Internationalization, we say, is our DNA. It's something that is just part of our daily life and in the School of Business. We have a large number of partners around the world, quality partners. We are very careful who we choose to be our partners, our partner universities. A lot of full-time international students and exchange students, and we have double degree opportunities. So even if you come to study in Hong Kong, we will also try and get you out of Hong Kong on field trips, on exchange, or even on double degree programs as part of that global vision that we're trying to develop here. In terms of support from the School of Business, we know, and we've learned from experience, that international students, get the time, international students, every international student has their own specific needs. Every student is unique, but especially international students coming from different cultures from around the world. So we offer very tailored support for our international students, pre-arrival support. We even have a meet and greet at the airport by appointment, orientations, campus tours, outings, and a lot of networking opportunities with other international students and with local students. One thing we have learned over the years is that it's not enough. It's not good enough just to bring international students to the School of Business. If we bring in international students and they stay in the corner by themselves or with their own culture, this is not helping other international students, and it's not helping local students. So we do a lot of activities to try and help you integrate with other nationalities in the School of Business and in the university. So these are the countries represented in the School of Business now, 39 countries. Our focus is on diversity. We do not want 100 students from the US or 100 students from Europe or 100 students from Africa. We want diversity of nationality because of a very important principle to our school. And that principle is you learn from differences, not from similarities. So we want diversity because that will encourage differences in the student body, and you can learn more from people who are different from yourself. When you go to a university, not just about what you learn from professors, okay? It's what you learn from the people you sit beside in the classroom. That's key, I believe. And that is why we facilitate this diversity in our classrooms. These are the programs available at master's level, 1 year full-time programs. So there are 10 programs there. And I think what you've been waiting for, perhaps, is for me to say something about scholarships. So this kind of represents a hierarchy of scholarships, with the first one being the most attractive scholarship and then going down that hierarchy. So the first scholarship, our flagship scholarship, is IPS, our International Postgraduate Scholarship, which is full tuition fee waiver, plus a living allowance of US dollars, around 13,000 US dollars. Okay, that's roughly $1,000 US dollars a month. Why $1,000 US dollars a month? We've done some estimates, and we think that to live a reasonable life in Hong Kong for food and accommodation, you need at least $1,000 US dollars a month. That will not get you a huge apartment, okay? Hong Kong is a tiny place. Space is very limited, okay? Do not come here thinking you're going to have 2,000 square feet apartment. You're going to have a tiny room. So please, I tell you that in advance. We all live in tiny homes in Hong Kong, most of us. So that's the flagship scholarship, the IPS. This scholarship is so attractive that I don't think we'll be offering it a few years from now, okay? Because it is such a huge financial investment. So I would encourage you to apply for this as soon as possible. Don't say you're going to apply 2-3 years later, because it may not be around 2 or 3 years from now. The next scholarship, also attractive, is Diversity Contribution Scholarship, which is full tuition fee waiver. And then finally, we have some entrance awards and admission scholarships. So we are welcoming international applicants for these scholarships, particularly the first 2 scholarships. That means applicants from beyond Hong Kong and mainland China. You don't need to submit a separate application for a scholarship. You simply need to apply for one of these 10 programs on the previous slides. By applying for one of those programs, and by being an international applicant, you will automatically be considered for a scholarship. Doesn't mean you'll get a scholarship, but you'll be in the consideration for a scholarship. Okay, so thank you, everybody. Look forward to the Q&A session. Back to you, Ilaria.
Thank you very much, Professor Prendergast, for your sharing and all your contribution and information. So I think we are now ready to move to the Q&A session. Actually, due to limited time, I'm afraid we don't have time enough to take all of the questions in real time, but Edison and Anne from HKBU already have done a great job by taking most of them in the chat and in the Q&A box. And also I will drop into the chat an email address so that you can reach out to in case you have further question or you need further information from HKBU. So let's start with the first questions. We had some students asking if they can stay in Hong Kong after graduation. So maybe Anne can help us with this question.
Okay, so actually all these graduates can stay in Hong Kong for 24 months. Okay, so during this 24 months, you are allowed to legally stay in Hong Kong and look for jobs. If you want to have more details, I actually have more information here. Actually, you can go to the immigration department, which provides you with more detailed information. Non-local graduates, you're allowed to stay in Hong Kong for 24 months. Okay, but there are actually 2 types, but I don't want to confuse you at this moment. Just don't worry about the 24-month stays, because as long as you graduate and you provide the important proof to the immigration department, you're allowed to stay in Hong Kong within 6 months after the date of graduation. Okay.
Thank you very much, Ada, for your answer. And now we can ask a question maybe to Emma and Rodrigo, because some of our participants are wondering about the admission interviews. So maybe you can share your experiences on that. Maybe we can start with Rodrigo and then move to Emma.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So in my case, it was quite unique because I was in the first generation of my program, and so I had to apply through online, and then I got I remember at the time I had to give proof of my English proficiency since I had my bachelor's done in English. Like, I think that's qualifies as a proof of English proficiency, at least for the masters in data analytics. But I would recommend you to look further for more details. And then I was asked for an interview with Dr. Monique, which was back then the program director. And yeah, it was quite straightforward, to be honest. And then I was accepted.
Thank you very much, Rodrigo. Emma, would you like to share your experience as well?
Yes, so I think it was quite similar to what Rodrigo just said. It was probably a 30 minutes interview, I think. And I remember I was asked about my background, why I want to study in Hong Kong, and a few more technical questions on my knowledge, etc. But it was very friendly. I remember I felt at ease. That was nice. And after that, I think I got notified that I went well, and so I got accepted. Yeah, but it was also a few years ago, so I might not remember all the details.
Thank you very much for your sharings, and maybe if you have an advice for our participants to how to stand out in their interviews, if you have any advice on how to be prepared and ready for the admission process. feel free to share any personal advice that you would like to give.
Well, I would say that it's also important to communicate why you want to study at HKBU, why you want to study to Hong Kong. It shouldn't be just a random choice. I think there needs to be motivation, and I think that is very important. And I think that what came across in my interview, it was I really wanted to study HKBU, I really wanted to study Hong Kong, and that was my target, and I made it very clear. So yeah, other than that, I was very honest about everything else. I didn't make up any false information about myself, and yeah, and it went well, so I would recommend the same.
Thank you very much, Emma. Rodrigo, do you have any advice for our audience?
I think more or less the same. Yeah, be honest. I remember, well, back then, I didn't have any background in programming, and I was honest with the interviewers about this, and they said like the program it could still be suitable for me, and I think yeah, that required me a little bit of more effort, but yeah, it's, I think, be yourself and show like genuine interest in the program and studying in HKBU in Hong Kong.
Thank you very much. Actually, honesty is always the best choice. So take advantage of this advice. And now we have some questions, like more technical ones. So can all business graduates apply for the postgraduate programs? Maybe Professor Prendergast, you can help us answer this question.
Sorry, did you say non-business graduates?
Exactly, non-business.
Yes, they can. Non-business graduates are welcome to apply. It's not, to apply for our programs, you need to have a first degree, obviously, in any discipline. And if it's in English, your first degree, if you were taught in English, you don't need to submit a language test result. If it wasn't in English, then you need to submit a IELTS score of 6.5 or above. We don't require GMAT. I saw somebody asking, do we ask for GMAT? We don't require a GMAT score. It's not an admission requirement.
Perfect. Thank you very much. And maybe
can I just say something? Can I just augment what Rodrigo and Emma said about preparing for the interview? Don't underestimate the importance of the interview, because it's very easy to put stuff on paper in the paper application. But as you said, Ilaria, be honest in the interview. And as Emma and Rodrigo said, be prepared for the interview. Tell us, why you want to study in Hong Kong, why you want to study in HKBU, and ask good questions. Don't ask questions, do you teach in English, or because this is kind of obvious. Do you have accreditations? Don't show us you've done some research on the school before you go to the interview. I think that's a good thing. Treat it like a job interview in some ways. Is my advice for the interview. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. And maybe we can connect to the topic of language, which is a very hot topic for our audience. So maybe you can tell us more about any language courses that you provide. For example, if anyone that gets admitted to HKBU wants to learn a bit of Chinese, or if you offer any other language courses.
Well, that's a good question. Who's that question for? It's not for me, is it?
I don't know, maybe Ada, you can help us with that. Or if Emma and Rodrigo, you have any experience about yourself or your classmates taking language courses.
I do actually.
Really?
So, but I already spoke some Mandarin. So I didn't take the Mandarin classes, but I remember they were available because some of my friends did. Also, like the basic level ones for a non-Chinese speaker, of course. Because I mean, then we should make a distinction between Mandarin and Cantonese, because in Hong Kong, actually, Cantonese is the official language. So I'm talking about Mandarin here. About the Cantonese courses, I'm not 100% sure. But for example, myself, I remember I took a Korean course. Yes, for complete beginners. And it was open really to everybody. So I had some local students joining and from mainland China. So yeah, and they had different levels. So I remember, and it was a very reasonable price for a student. So it was also a great opportunity for me to do some extracurricular activity, and I would recommend it. They have few languages now. I don't remember all of them, but I think if you want to learn Chinese, Mandarin, Cantonese, or even other languages, it's definitely available.
Thank you very much for your answer. And now we have another question, and I think that Professor Prendergast, you can help us with that. So maybe you can tell us something about how competitive the scholarships are, and what will the school and each program look for while making an offer and granting a scholarship to a student that is applying?
Okay, so about the admissions to the programs, how competitive is it? Let me talk in general, because we have 10 different master's programs and each program has slightly different requirements, but I can tell you the general requirements common to all programs, okay? Firstly, the scholarships are indeed competitive and they are merit-based. So just because you have an international passport doesn't mean you're going to get a scholarship automatically. You'll be competing against other international applicants. So it's competitive. Scholarships are considered on an ongoing basis. So the sooner you apply, the better. If you leave it until later, maybe all the scholarships are gone already. So on an ongoing rolling basis, we consider the scholarships. In terms of the criteria for selecting a scholarship recipient, obviously, your undergraduate performance is important. So what was your performance in your undergraduate degree, firstly? Secondly is your interview performance. As I said, don't underestimate the importance of the interview. And the interview is also a chance for us to see your English proficiency, okay, your spoken English. Somehow, some students, I don't know how they do it, they can get a very high IELTS score, but can't always speak English very well. So the IELTS score alone is not enough for us. We need to have that face-to-face interview, Zoom interview, to look at your verbal spoken English as well. So your academic performance, your interview performance, your English proficiency, and finally, if you have some professional experience, that's useful. It's not a requirement, but obviously that's an asset as well, which we would consider, any working experience.
Perfect.
I just want to add a footnote about the language issue, because one of the attendees asked about, can you study Chinese? And Emma said yes, and Emma studied Korean. Yeah, we welcome students to study other languages within the School of Business. But I need to be clear that the School of Business programs are 100% English. Okay? You're welcome to study other languages, but that would be co-curricular studies. It wouldn't be part of our program's curriculum. Okay?
Perfect.
We really encourage it, but it's not part of it. You don't have to study other languages. You can do it all in English, our program.
Thanks for clarifying that point, Professor. And maybe you can share again the list of programs offering scholarships, as we are getting more questions on that topic. So do all the master programs include the possibility to get scholarship, only some of them, and up to what percentage? Okay, we can see it.
Yeah, okay, you can see it. Sorry, I muted myself.
Yes.
No, these are the programs that are offering scholarships. These are the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 one-year master's programs. Okay, they are all offering IPS they are all offering diversity scholarships. Just because we offer a scholarship, it doesn't mean they will fill the place, okay? It depends on the quality of the applicant. So we may, all the programs may admit scholarship students, or they may not. Depends on the quality of the applications. But all of the programs have the opportunity to offer the scholarships.
Great, very clear, thank you. And now we can move to the next question that I would ask to Emma and Rodrigo. So do you see any differences between studying and after working in Hong Kong? How would you comment working life and the environment there? Maybe we can start with Emma this time.
Okay, so the difference between studying and working. Well, this is like anywhere else, I think there is a big difference, right? Well, so maybe I can elaborate a bit on how working is in Hong Kong first. So I think there is a difference between working in a local company and an international one. In my case, I work in an international one, and actually also a non-profit. So it's even more different in the sense that I have a very flexible schedule. I work a lot from home, and I know this happens a lot in international companies, but even since COVID, more even in local ones. So at least in my industry, I wouldn't say that the work-life balance is super bad. Maybe in some other industries it can be quite challenging, but for me, of course, we work a lot in Hong Kong, but it's still manageable. And yes, so I'm quite satisfied about the working life balance. And then, well, different with studying, of course, the very different goals, right? Well, and more of a packed schedule. But I have to say that HKBU, by studying at HKBU, we also got to learn a bit how that would be. I mean, working and working life in Hong Kong. So it wasn't completely unexpected and very hard transition, I have to say.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Emma. Rodrigo, there's anything else that you would like to add on that?
Maybe just a little bit more, but not much. I think Emma had a very complete answer. Maybe just share a little bit about the schedules. I think many of the master classes take place in the evenings. So I think that's probably one of the biggest difference between like working in Hong Kong and studying in HKBU. Like the time where you will be busy mostly is in the evenings if you come to study. At least that was the case with in my case, yeah, with the data analytics program.
Perfect. Thank you very much for adding this perspective. And then we can move to a couple of questions for Ada. So a student is asking if after the 24 months do students have the chance to extend their stay in Hong Kong? Do they need to have a contract to be hired from company, or there's the possibility to extend their period of staying also without being hired yet?
Okay, so for this case, graduates, I mean, after the 24 months, you can apply for extension, but in this case, you need to secure a job. Okay, so the extension year would be 3 years and then plus another 3 years. But the condition is you must get a job. Okay, actually, I can share a bit more about the information here, the immigration arrangement for non-local graduates. You can find the information from here, like extension of stay, that what I've just covered. I can type the link in the chat box so that you guys, if you have any questions about IANG, you feel free to take a look at the website because I trust that you may have a lot of questions before you coming to Hong Kong apply for programs. Oh, sorry, it should be Okay, so you can find the link in the chat box to learn more about the IANG, the immigration arrangements for non-local graduates.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Ada. And then we have also a question about part-time jobs. So maybe someone was wondering if you can help also students to find a part-time job while studying.
First of all, you can take up the part-time job while you are studying at HKBU, but the condition is you must get the no objection letter, which goes along with your student visa. Okay, so that you can take up the part-time job. For those openings, you can find those openings on our LinkedIn or and also the job portal of the university.
Okay, perfect. And now we have a question about the transition from the university to the work environment. I think that already Emma and Rodrigo answered partly this question, but maybe it would be useful to get also a perspective from the school's point of view. So how easy is for an international student to transition from university to the work environment after getting graduated at business school, and what does the career service actually to facilitate this process and this transition, sorry.
Okay, so maybe I share a bit more information here. I think it depends on the industry. Sometimes it may not require the graduates to speak, an international student to speak Cantonese or Mandarin. It really depends on the industry. But also, I think personality, your personality matters. Whether you are a proactive person or you are a shy or a quiet person, it tells the difference how you can quickly. So you move, you transform yourself from being a student into a career professional upon graduation. It also, your personality also matters. And then in terms of resources, actually, another team focusing on the alumni, they will hold some alumni networking session that international students or the graduates can also mingle with our graduates and also our recent alumni that you may find it useful. Okay.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your questions, and also thanks to our audience for their participation and also the question they asked. I think we got to the end of our webinar. So again, thanks to everybody for their time and for joining us today. And we hope that this session was helpful for you, and look forward to get in touch with you again during our future events with the HKBU School of Business.